The Galactic Council gathered in solemn urgency, a rare occurrence reserved for matters of utmost importance. The members, a mix of towering figures, shimmering beings, and wise elders from across the galaxy, cast glances filled with gravity toward each other. Earth, a seemingly minor player in galactic politics, had become the center of a growing tension that threatened to destabilize the galaxy itself. Representatives from various species spoke with purpose. The Council had foreseen the unique adaptability and resilience of humans, and had urged the galaxy's leading powers to exercise caution in their dealings with Earth. But now, one being in particular, the Alien King, had been escalating his provocations toward humanity. The Council had observed his actions with increasing alarm, noting the calculated but reckless pressure he was exerting on Earth. The time had come to intervene, to ensure the galaxy's future did not unravel due to his short-sighted ambitions. As the Council issued its formal message, the spokesperson's voice was resolute, echoing through the Great Hall. Earth and its people are unpredictable. They have a remarkable will to survive, a tendency to innovate under pressure. Attempting to draw them into conflict could have unforeseen consequences. The message was stern, with emphasis on the long-term implications for all of galactic society. The Council made it clear that they saw humanity as a potential balancing force, a species with the rare capacity for both wisdom and resilience, if allowed to remain neutral. The message traveled across galaxies, a direct transmission to the Alien King's throne room. Watching the incoming transmission with disinterest, the Alien King smirked. To him, Earth's inhabitants were primitive and weak, hardly worth the Council's words of caution. He had conquered worlds more advanced and feared by many, species who possessed far greater technologies and martial abilities than these upstart humans. The notion that humans could pose any kind of threat was absurd to him. His confidence, bordering on arrogance, had been built upon centuries of victory, and he dismissed the Galactic Council's message without a second thought. "Let humans stay neutral," he sneered, waving his hand dismissively. "They are merely ants waiting to be stepped on. This Council forgets that power is earned through conquest, not caution." He turned to his advisors, each one loyal and ready to implement his commands. "We will show these humans the price of their insolence. If they think they can stay out of galactic affairs, they will soon learn their place." The King's advisors murmured in agreement, nodding as he outlined his plan. His strategy was simple: provoke the humans, test their patience, and force them to respond. He saw the Council's warning as a mere formality, an overestimation of Earth's significance in the grand scheme of things. Humanity was small, and he intended to keep it that way, with or without the Council's consent. Meanwhile, the Galactic Council's message reached Earth. Humanity's leaders received the warning with a sense of growing unease. They had long been aware of the Alien King's ambitions but had hoped for peace. Earth's resources were still recovering, and its leaders wanted to focus on technological growth, cultural advancement, and sustainability. They had no interest in becoming embroiled in a cosmic power struggle. But the Council's message made it clear that they would need to be prepared for the possibility of defending their territory. Humanity's leaders understood the risk. If provoked, they would have to respond, but they also knew they could not afford to antagonize a force as powerful as the Alien King. In the weeks following the Council's warning, Earth's intelligence agencies began to notice subtle signs of the Alien King's reach expanding toward their territory. Covert operations increased, with alien ships observed lingering at the edges of human space. Communications were intercepted hinting at plans to destabilize Earth's defenses. Humanity watched, aware that the first real move would be theirs, and hoping it would never come. The Alien King's provocations escalated, with minor skirmishes happening at humanity's outermost settlements. It was evident he sought to bait them into a conflict, forcing them to pick a side in galactic politics. Earth's leaders struggled to keep the peace, deflecting his advances and taking defensive actions, but the pressure was mounting. Every move was calculated to avoid giving the Alien King an excuse to launch a full-scale invasion, but the strain was evident. Leaders spoke of neutrality, yet knew that their patience was wearing thin. The Alien King's condescending dismissal of humanity, as insignificant, had emboldened him, making him bolder in his provocations. As tensions continued to rise, whispers of discontent began circulating within the Galactic Council. Some members believed they had made a mistake, that perhaps they should have been more forceful in their warning. They observed the alien king's blatant disregard for their advice and saw the effects of his actions spreading through the galaxy, influencing other smaller factions to adopt his belligerent stance toward Earth. Back on Earth, however, resolve was building. Humanity's leaders began preparing for the worst, aware that the alien king would likely push them until they had no choice but to retaliate. They understood the risks, but they were no strangers to survival against overwhelming odds. The alien king, utterly dismissive of the Galactic Council's warning, continued his relentless campaign to draw Earth into conflict. To him, this was an opportunity to expand his empire and secure resources without facing any serious opposition. He viewed Earth's people as a small obstacle in his broader galactic ambitions, more a nuisance than a threat, and he was determined to force their submission or eliminate them if they resisted. Under his command, covert actions against humanity intensified. First came a series of subtle but pointed incursions. Alien ships, cloaked and nearly undetectable, began to appear at the peripheries of human-controlled space. They observed, mapped, and occasionally disrupted Earth's communication relays and satellite systems. The goal was to establish a foothold, gathering intelligence while sowing discord and instability within human territories. Humanity's security systems detected some of these anomalies but attributed them to technical malfunctions or unintentional interference, a testament to the alien king's carefully planned approach to minimize suspicion. Earth's leaders, however, were not oblivious. Military and political figures, though cautious, recognized these incidents as potential preludes to an escalating threat. Diplomats reached out to the Galactic Council, seeking clarity on the alien king's intentions, but the Council remained restrained, unwilling to commit to direct intervention. The Council's neutrality stance, intended to prevent galactic wars, restricted their influence over autonomous sovereigns, even in cases of aggression. Humanity, therefore, found itself in a tenuous position, isolated, aware of a gathering storm, and uncertain of allies. In response, Earth's leaders quietly authorized defense measures, strengthening planetary security, reinforcing outposts, and beginning construction on a series of defensive stations. These preparations were conducted under the guise of routine military exercises, designed to avoid provocation while positioning humanity for potential retaliation if necessary. The alien king, noticing these maneuvers, saw them not as defensive, but as defiance, a refusal to yield under his pressure. Convinced that humanity's resistance was a direct challenge to his authority, he shifted tactics to a more aggressive stance. Next came the subtle economic warfare. Through intermediaries and subjugated factions, the alien king orchestrated trade embargoes, disrupting Earth's access to essential goods. He manipulated markets and imposed silent sanctions, impacting Earth's economic stability and creating subtle pressure on its leaders to either align with his interests or face a slow, painful degradation of their quality of life. He hoped this approach would weaken Earth's resolve, making the population and government more malleable to his demands. However, Earth's people, resilient by nature, began to adjust and find workarounds. Citizens mobilized to conserve resources, community-driven efforts emerged to address shortages, and innovation flourished in the face of adversity. Undeterred, the alien king escalated further, ordering strategic strikes on isolated human settlements in the galaxy's fringe regions. These outposts, though minor in strategic importance, were integral to Earth's exploratory and scientific efforts. Destroying them would send a clear message of dominance while dealing a symbolic blow to humanity's morale. He authorized attacks designed to leave no trace, hoping that these incidents would be perceived as accidents or isolated events. But with each loss, Earth's leaders became increasingly convinced that these were no mere coincidences. Earth's military intelligence, now fully engaged, conducted a rigorous investigation into the incidents, piecing together patterns that suggested the alien king's involvement. Evidence was scarce, but growing. His carefully hidden hand was becoming visible, and the awareness within humanity's highest councils shifted from apprehension to resolve. The population, too, grew aware of the growing threat. News spread of the unexplained disruptions and attacks, sparking a shift in public opinion from neutrality toward cautious defiance. Within the alien king's circle, his advisors noticed the shift and cautioned restraint. They warned that humanity's ingenuity and adaptability could pose challenges, especially if they became fully mobilized and aligned against him. But the alien king, confident in his superiority, dismissed these concerns. His focus was singular: break Earth's spirit, crush their hope, and assimilate their resources without provoking widespread galactic conflict. He believed his slow, calculated moves would evade the Council's interference and avoid rallying other factions to Earth's defense. As humanity adapted to the alien king's tactics, their defenses grew stronger, and their leadership more united. While Earth's leaders maintained public calm, behind closed doors, strategies were devised to counter potential attacks, reclaim disrupted resources, and strengthen alliances, however subtle, with sympathetic galactic neighbors who quietly disapproved of the alien king's expansionist agenda. Earth's diplomats discreetly sought support from factions that, while neutral in policy, harbored grievances against the alien king's aggressive dominion. At this juncture, Earth's refusal to yield was not just political but deeply cultural. Humanity's history was filled with instances of defiance against overwhelming odds, and this was simply another chapter. The alien king, in his miscalculation, failed to see that his pressure tactics only served to strengthen Earth's resolve. Earth's response was neither open resistance nor full compliance. Instead, they opted for subtle resilience, carefully balancing their actions to avoid outright provocation, while reinforcing their defenses and fostering self-reliance. Yet, even as Earth's resilience became apparent, the alien king saw this as a final confirmation of his need to act decisively. His advisors suggested a climactic demonstration of power, a calculated move designed to break humanity's will once and for all. They proposed an incursion deeper into human territory, a show of strength that would remove any doubts about his control and demand absolute submission. The alien king agreed, preparing his fleet and resources for a strike that he believed would end this resistance once and for all, eliminating humanity as a potential threat and forcing the Galactic Council to accept his terms. In his overconfidence, he underestimated one critical element. Earth's leaders, through their patience and strategic defense, had anticipated this. They knew that if they held steady, the alien king would eventually commit to an action large enough to expose his intentions and justify a decisive response. The alien king, frustrated by humanity's quiet defiance, decided it was time for an overt act of power. His tactics shifted from subtle provocations to direct aggression. He authorized an attack on one of humanity's outer colonies, a small but strategically significant settlement that Earth depended on for mineral resources. Alien forces arrived swiftly, launching a brutal assault that left the colony in ruins. The message was clear: the alien king would not tolerate humanity's resistance, no matter how subdued. For humanity, this attack was a tipping point. Leaders from Earth's governing councils convened immediately, each aware that they could no longer avoid taking a definitive stance. The decision to remain neutral had shielded them from direct conflict, but now that choice was rendered irrelevant. The alien king had openly disregarded their autonomy and crossed a line that humanity could not ignore. Earth's leaders unanimously agreed that they would respond, not merely to defend their territory but to send a clear message that they would not submit to the alien king's tyranny. With preparations quickly finalized, humanity's military forces mobilized. Fleets were dispatched, equipped with advanced technologies developed through years of strategic innovation. Though Earth's military strength was modest by galactic standards, their equipment and tactics were uniquely suited to counter an enemy who relied heavily on brute force. Using cloaking technologies, electronic warfare tactics, and high maneuverability fighters, Earth's fleet approached the alien king's forces with the element of surprise on their side. When Earth's fleet engaged the alien king's forces, the alien troops were unprepared for the scale and precision of the attack. Human pilots executed calculated maneuvers, bypassing conventional combat patterns and focusing on exploiting weaknesses in the enemy's formations. The result was devastating for the alien king's forces, who were unaccustomed to fighting an opponent as adaptable and resourceful as humanity. Earth's forces, though smaller, leveraged their knowledge of guerrilla tactics, using the environment and their advanced weaponry to devastating effect. Within hours, the alien king's forces were forced into a retreat. The decisive victory sent shockwaves through the galaxy, with even the Galactic Council taken aback by the speed and effectiveness of humanity's response. The Council, previously divided on whether Earth could withstand such a powerful adversary, now saw humanity in a different light. Their reputation had shifted from a neutral, emerging civilization to a resilient power capable of defending its people against one of the galaxy's most ruthless rulers. The alien king, however, saw this defeat as a personal affront. His pride wounded, he doubled down, assembling a larger fleet and preparing for a counterattack that would restore his authority. His advisors, aware of the costs and risks, suggested restraint, warning that humanity's unexpected strength might indicate deeper alliances or technological advancements they had not accounted for. But the alien king, blinded by anger, dismissed their concerns and pushed forward, intent on crushing Earth's forces completely. As Earth's intelligence intercepted the alien king's plans, their leaders recognized that this next wave would be far more devastating. Knowing they couldn't match the alien king's numbers, they prepared a defense based on strategy rather than sheer force. Earth's military devised a series of tactical responses designed to draw the alien forces into traps, exploiting their predictability and reliance on overwhelming power. They positioned their fleets in strategic locations, prepared to lure the alien king's forces into environments where Earth's smaller ships could outmaneuver and isolate segments of the larger fleet. The battle unfolded as planned. As the alien king's forces advanced, humanity's fleets strategically withdrew, feigning weakness. The alien forces, sensing victory, pursued aggressively, falling directly into carefully laid ambushes. Earth's forces launched targeted strikes at critical points, disabling key ships and disrupting the alien king's chain of command. What the alien king had expected to be a swift and overpowering assault turned into a series of chaotic skirmishes, with his forces unable to regroup effectively. Frustrated and overwhelmed, the alien king was forced to retreat once more. For the second time, humanity had demonstrated an ability to withstand and repel his advances, defying expectations and showcasing a resilience that continued to confound him. The loss was not just strategic but deeply symbolic. For the first time, the alien king had faced an opponent who could anticipate and counter his moves. Earth's leaders, though triumphant, remained cautious. They understood that these victories, while significant, would likely provoke the alien king further, pushing him to seek a final, decisive confrontation. The Galactic Council, meanwhile, observed these events with increasing concern. Humanity's resilience and tactical ingenuity had shifted the balance of power in unexpected ways, and the Council began to consider the implications of Earth's growing influence. Though humanity had acted in self-defense, their actions had demonstrated a strength that made other galactic powers take notice. The Council recognized that Earth was no longer a neutral bystander, but an emerging force that could reshape the galaxy's political landscape. As news of humanity's victory spread, smaller factions and neutral planets, long subject to the alien king's dominion, found inspiration in Earth's resistance. Whispers of rebellion circulated, with many wondering if the alien king's era of control was weakening. The alien king's advisors, sensing the potential for unrest, urged him to negotiate, to prevent further descent across his territories. But the alien king, embittered and unyielding, was determined to make an example of humanity, seeing any concession as a sign of weakness. Unaware that his relentless pursuit of dominance was isolating him further, the alien king prepared for a final offensive, one he believed would restore his power and silence all opposition. But Earth's leaders, too, were preparing. They understood that their survival depended on not just defending their territory but on decisively ending the alien king's aggression. Their scientists, engineers, and strategists worked tirelessly, developing new weapons and defensive measures, pushing their capabilities to the limits in anticipation of the impending confrontation. Earth's leaders knew that the next battle would likely determine their fate within the galaxy. Though aware of the risks, they faced this challenge with determination, bolstered by their victories and the knowledge that they had already defied impossible odds. As the alien king's forces regrouped for a final assault, humanity stood united, ready to defend their people, their sovereignty, and their place in the galaxy's ever-evolving balance of power. The alien king's failed assaults had only deepened his resentment toward humanity. His earlier confidence was now laced with desperation, as he sought new ways to overpower a civilization that had proven unexpectedly resilient. Determined to end the resistance, he assembled his most formidable armada, directing vast resources to prepare for a decisive, final assault. However, the alien king's fixation on brute force continued to blind him to humanity's greatest strengths: adaptability and ingenuity. On Earth, leaders recognized the need for unconventional strategies to counter the impending attack. They could not match the alien king in numbers, but they could leverage tactics and technology to offset this imbalance. Teams of scientists and engineers worked around the clock, developing electronic countermeasures, advanced cloaking technology, and specialized weaponry that exploited the weaknesses of the alien king's fleet. With a deep understanding of the king's previous tactics, they crafted a strategy that would lure the alien forces into positions where human forces would have the upper hand. Humanity's approach relied heavily on psychological warfare and disruption. Earth's intelligence services broadcast carefully crafted messages across the galaxy, targeting neutral factions and even subjugated planets within the alien king's empire. These messages portrayed humanity not just as a defender of its own territory, but as a force for independence, suggesting that the alien king's tyranny could be overcome. These broadcasts sparked unrest within the alien king's territories, subtly encouraging insurrection and rebellion. While the alien king prepared for a massive offensive, his empire began to show signs of strain from within. The alien king, furious at these subversive efforts, ordered his generals to tighten control over his domains, diverting some of his resources to quell the growing dissent. His advisors, aware of the unrest but fearful of his wrath, warned him that Earth's tactics were destabilizing his rule. But the alien king dismissed their concerns, insisting that humanity's resistance was a temporary problem that would be crushed once his forces reached Earth. His confidence remained unshaken, even as intelligence reports indicated that Earth's forces were mobilizing with unexpected cohesion and sophistication. Meanwhile, Earth's military strategists devised a multi-layered defense. They planned to use their home system's environment to their advantage, luring the alien king's fleet into asteroid fields, regions with heavy magnetic interference, and planetary atmospheres where his larger ships would struggle to maneuver. In these contested zones, humanity's smaller, more agile ships could conduct hit-and-run tactics, isolating and targeting high-value ships in the alien king's fleet. Each stage of their plan was designed to exploit the predictable nature of his forces, which relied on direct confrontation rather than flexible engagement. Humanity's leadership knew that morale would play a crucial role in this battle. While they prepared their defenses, they made every effort to ensure that Earth's citizens were informed, inspired, and supportive of the effort. Messages of unity, resilience, and defiance against tyranny were broadcast planet-wide, galvanizing the population. This spirit of determination permeated every level of society, from civilians providing logistical support to soldiers on the front lines, each person committed to the collective effort to defend Earth. As the alien king's armada approached, Earth's defense forces enacted their strategy with precision. Small fleets, disguised by cloaking fields and interference zones, launched surprise attacks on isolated segments of the alien forces. Each engagement was quick and devastating, with Earth's ships retreating before the alien king's fleet could regroup. Frustrated and unable to secure a decisive victory, the alien king found his forces scattered and vulnerable to further assaults. Earth's tactics were not merely defensive. They were designed to erode the alien king's strength gradually, inflicting continuous losses without committing to a full engagement. In response, the alien king intensified his efforts, deploying even more ships and ordering his generals to ignore protocol, focusing solely on capturing or destroying Earth's central defenses. This shift in strategy left parts of his empire vulnerable, as he redirected his forces to the front lines. As a result, pockets of rebellion within his territories began to flare up, emboldened by the weakened oversight. Unrest spread as smaller factions seized the opportunity to resist, striking at the alien king's authority while his attention remained fixed on Earth. Earth's leaders capitalized on this unrest, establishing covert communications with factions opposing the alien king. They shared intelligence, resources, and tactics, encouraging these groups to resist in ways that would further weaken the king's dominion. The alien king's empire, once considered unbreakable, now faced multiple fractures as humanity's indirect influence spread across his territories. This alliance of convenience, though informal, helped divert additional resources from the alien king's offensive, forcing him to fight on multiple fronts. Despite these setbacks, the alien king pressed forward, driven by an obsessive need to crush humanity. Yet every engagement with Earth's forces drained his resources, sapped his morale, and left his once unified fleet splintered and demoralized. The alien king's reputation, built on swift conquests and uncompromising strength, began to falter as word of humanity's resistance spread. Allies who once feared him now questioned his ability to lead, and whispers of dissent grew louder among his own ranks. Recognizing the shift, Earth's leaders decided it was time to launch a decisive counteroffensive. Using intelligence gathered from their alliances, they pinpointed a vulnerable command point within the alien king's fleet. In a bold and meticulously planned operation, Earth's forces launched a concentrated strike, aiming to cut off the alien king's control over his scattered fleet. The attack succeeded in disrupting his communications, leaving his forces disoriented and leaderless. As Earth's fleets tightened their grip on the alien king's weakened armada, the Galactic Council observed with growing astonishment. What had begun as a conflict between a powerful empire and a small planet had now become a symbol of resistance against tyranny. Humanity, by defending its autonomy, had unwittingly ignited a movement across the galaxy. The Council, previously hesitant to intervene, now deliberated openly about the alien king's role in destabilizing the galaxy, and considered measures to curtail his influence permanently. In the final moments of this phase of the conflict, Earth's forces delivered a message to the alien king's remaining fleet. Humanity would defend its place in the galaxy and would not yield to aggression. The alien king, humiliated and weakened, retreated with what was left of his forces, unable to secure the victory he had so confidently predicted. Humanity, having proven itself through strategy, resilience, and alliances, emerged not only as a survivor but as a respected power that others now looked to for leadership against oppression. With the alien king's retreat, a new era of tension settled over the galaxy. Humanity's hard-won victory over his forces had sent ripples throughout galactic society, transforming Earth from an isolated planet to a symbol of resistance. The Galactic Council convened once again, now openly debating the implications of Earth's actions. Previously wary of Earth's involvement in galactic affairs, the Council's members recognized that humanity had altered the balance of power, inspiring smaller factions and previously neutral planets to rethink their stance. They faced a critical choice: acknowledge humanity's growing influence, or risk alienating a potential ally in maintaining peace. The Council deliberated over Earth's future role, recognizing that humanity's tenacity and innovation had outmatched the alien king's brute strength. Some members argued that Earth should be offered a seat within the Council to formalize its position and encourage a more stable political landscape. Others were cautious, fearing that granting Earth a place would destabilize the existing hierarchy, potentially sparking further unrest. Yet, the reality was clear: Earth had earned respect not only through its survival but by demonstrating the capacity to stand as an equal among more established powers. Meanwhile, Earth's leaders were aware of the opportunity and responsibility their victory presented. Humanity was now at a crossroads, faced with decisions that would shape its relationship with the rest of the galaxy. There was a strong consensus that Earth would not pursue conquest or expansion. Instead, they prioritized fortifying their defenses, advancing technology, and fostering diplomatic relations. They understood that lasting security lay not in isolation but in building alliances and partnerships that would deter any future aggression. Despite their intentions for peaceful coexistence, Earth's rapid rise in prominence attracted attention from both allies and skeptics. leaders from neutral planets reached out, some seeking formal alliances, while others were interested in trade and knowledge exchanges. Earth's diplomats began crafting treaties, emphasizing mutual respect and non-aggression. They carefully navigated these interactions, ensuring that Earth's values were upheld while building a network of alliances that would serve as a buffer against future threats. The alien king, meanwhile, had not vanished entirely. Though weakened, he retreated to his core territories, his influence diminished but not entirely lost. His retreat marked a shift in his strategy. He realized that a direct confrontation with humanity was no longer feasible. Instead, he turned to more insidious tactics, seeking ways to regain his power by undermining Earth's alliances and manipulating smaller factions. He spread propaganda, portraying humanity as a threat to galactic stability, warning that Earth's rise would disrupt the balance and lead to a new era of conflict. Earth's leaders were aware of this smear campaign and responded with transparency and diplomacy. They engaged with galactic media channels, sharing their intentions and reaffirming their commitment to peace. Humanity's victory, they asserted, was not about domination but survival. This narrative resonated with many, reinforcing Earth's position as a responsible power. The Galactic Council, witnessing Earth's diplomatic acumen, grew increasingly supportive, recognizing that humanity's influence might bring a much-needed counterbalance to figures like the alien king. Within Earth's own society, this newfound role in the galaxy sparked a surge of cultural and scientific growth. Citizens, inspired by the events, pushed for advancements in education, exploration, and technological innovation. Humanity's victory was not merely a military achievement but a cultural one, uniting Earth's diverse nations and ideologies under a shared purpose. Earth's scientists and engineers redoubled their efforts, producing advancements that strengthened planetary defense, enhanced space travel, and expanded humanity's understanding of the galaxy. Humanity's entry into galactic politics also triggered ethical debates. Leaders and thinkers on Earth grappled with questions about intervention and non-interference, aware of the complexities and responsibilities that came with their influence. They established guiding principles, stressing that Earth's involvement would remain focused on peacekeeping and self-defense. These principles, documented in a formal manifesto, were shared publicly, reinforcing Earth's commitment to respectful coexistence and transparency. The manifesto served as both a reassurance to allies and a warning to would-be aggressors. As Earth solidified its role, the Galactic Council ultimately extended an invitation for humanity to participate as an observer. This position, though limited in authority, symbolized Earth's growing status and allowed humanity to contribute to discussions that shaped galactic policy. Earth's representatives approached this role with humility, participating in debates with the intention to learn, support stability, and offer insights grounded in their unique experiences. The Council recognized that, despite their relative youth in the galaxy, humanity brought a fresh perspective, one rooted in resilience and adaptability. The alien king, observing Earth's gradual integration, recognized the diminishing power of his influence. His propaganda efforts had limited effect, as more planets and factions aligned with Earth's vision of peace. His advisors, aware of the shifting dynamics, suggested that he abandon his vendetta, but his resentment remained. The alien king plotted in the shadows, gathering support from those who resented Earth's rapid rise, intending to strike back indirectly. His efforts, however, met resistance, as many factions preferred Earth's diplomatic approach over the alien king's tyranny. Over time, Earth's alliances grew stronger, forming a network of mutual support that protected smaller planets and factions from exploitation. Humanity's alliances were grounded in values rather than coercion, and this approach earned them respect and loyalty from partners who had once feared for their sovereignty. The Galactic Council, observing Earth's impact, began shifting policies to favor autonomy and self-governance, inspired in part by humanity's example. Earth's leaders recognized the importance of these alliances, knowing that peace in the galaxy depended on unity and cooperation. Earth's influence extended beyond politics, inspiring a wave of cultural exchanges that enriched both humanity and their allies. Artists, scientists, and scholars from across the galaxy visited Earth, contributing to a vibrant exchange of knowledge and culture. This influx of ideas fostered innovation, while also helping Earth to bridge cultural gaps and strengthen diplomatic ties. Humanity's role had transformed from a reluctant participant in galactic affairs to a beacon of cooperative progress. Ultimately, Earth's rise reshaped the galaxy's landscape. Humanity's journey from an isolated planet to a respected power inspired other civilizations to reevaluate their roles and responsibilities. The Galactic Council, now aligned with Earth's vision of peace and cooperation, implemented policies that supported unity and autonomy, aiming to prevent future conflicts. Humanity's presence served as a reminder that strength lay not only in military power but in shared values and resilience. The alien king, though marginalized, lingered on the outskirts, a reminder of past conflicts. Yet his diminished influence highlighted a shift in the galaxy, one where ambition and aggression were increasingly outweighed by diplomacy and mutual respect. Humanity's ascent had catalyzed a broader transformation, with Earth standing as both a defender of freedom and a symbol of hope for a peaceful galaxy.